social sciences and humanities in general could be a crucial field that push forward the limits of AI and safeguard the risks that AI poses on its downside. You know, AI comes with a lot of opportunities, societal, educational, academic, but also challenges and risks. And human and social sciences could play a risk in, first of all, identifying those risks, analyzing them, and then safeguarding against them by raising awareness and then providing kind of capacity building training, educational programs and tools, not only for researchers and faculty members, but also for like members of society. So human and social sciences field is an important field in maybe not advancing AI, but safeguarding and regulating the use of AI, not only within academia, but beyond that. That's a very, very good question, basically, and that's the main core and the main purpose of this Spring School in its third edition, is what kind of guidelines we need to incorporate as faculty members and also as researchers and young researchers in order to safeguard research. There are several of them. First of all is awareness raising. We need to raise awareness about the fact that AI is a tool, and this tool has to be safeguarded from number, actually not certain, but a number of dangers and threats that affect not only the practice of research, but also the impact of that research on whoever society or community the research is going to be applied on. So first of all, we need to raise awareness of the danger, and then we need to train researchers, young researchers, on where the limits of AI use where should we stop using AI and to what extent. And we should always be remembered and also share that with whoever is using AI, is that AI is a tool and should not replace us as researchers. So that's something very crucial, is that we are the researcher. It's not AI. AI is a tool and it has to be used ethically, responsibly, and transparently. So when a researcher engages in using those tools, he or she has to be aware of this. So awareness is important. And then comes the dimension of mastering those tools and then understanding what is the limit. Indeed, yes. The use of AI could be a threat to academic freedom and knowledge production in general, especially when we rely mainly and blindly on those tools in the production and generation of knowledge. And this is why I said that we need to remember, and young researchers need to remember, that AI is a tool, not the generator of knowledge. Because as we all know now, AI is not using or like generating knowledge, but basically collecting knowledge and putting it together and regenerating what already exists. So it's not producing new knowledge. It's us human beings who could contribute in generating new knowledge. AI functions in a predictive manner, whereas researchers use or conduct research in a positivist way, in the sense that research could be duplicated, data could be checked and traced, and this is something almost impossible to be done when conducting research with AI. So that is the threat that AI could represent when we rely mainly on generating knowledge by the use of AI. Institutes, universities, research centers have a great deal of responsibility, and I think they are aware of it. And one of those responsibilities is regulating that. And the first thing that comes when we talk about regulating is the policies. We're talking about every university. We already have that established. Every university has the code of conduct of like ethical research. But now there is a new component, which is AI, and most of the universities, whether in the big south or the north or the big north now, they are trying to update those regulatory frameworks. So the responsibility today for every research institute or academic organization is to update their manual of like the code of conduct and integrating sections about how AI could be used, to what extent, and who could use it. And so that's the first thing, is regulating the use of AI. The second responsibility is providing capacity building training first to the faculty members, to professors and teachers, on how AI should be and could be used, so that they could transfer that knowledge to their students, and then provide capacity building training modules, core subjects on the use, ethical and transparent use of AI. This could be courses that students could be enrolled in. And then the third dimension is providing capacity building training, awareness raising to the administrators. Administrators are a big core and an important component within any educational institutions, and they need to be integrated within this, this capacity building campaign. There's huge need for that. Just came from Vienna this week, and where we were at the Central European University in Vienna, and that's what basically we're discussing, is that even within in Austria now, they are trying to update code of conduct and ethical use of AI within academic research. So there is huge gap nowadays. Of course, there are, let's say, big guidelines that have been established by three components. The first one is the UN, the United Nations, and then there is ALA, ALLA, which is like all European universities organization, which encompasses about 27 universities in Europe. They have drafted, let's say, a guideline on how to integrate AI in research. However, there are still like some specificities that are lacking in terms of the operationalization of those guidelines, and then breaking them into small measurements and measures that have to be implemented by both universities, institutions, and faculty members and students. Even though it's too early for this question to be fully fledged, but Again, it depends on how do we use it, not how it impacts. The way we use it will tell us how that knowledge is going to be impacted. If we are using AI in a responsible, transparent, and ethical way, I think the impact of AI will have positive impact on knowledge that we are producing, not AI producing. But if we are just relying on AI to produce that knowledge, as I said, we are going to be bluntly giving agency to a tool and giving up our own agency as human beings, and that is where the risk actually lies. This is one of the risks and the threat of AI, because if we rely like blindly on AI tools in analyzing especially qualitative data, that is very dangerous, because here we are not only flattening and simplifying and overlooking the depth that usually qualitative data present, then our research is going to overlook the main aspect that qualitative data usually give, which is contextuality, intersectionality, positionality and the reflexivity of the research. Qualitative research basically have or should have those four components, which is contextuality and reflexivity, positionality, and intersectionality of the research. So when you upload the data to AI and then give it to AI to analyze it, all those dimensions are overlooked. That's one dimension, that's one threat. The other problem or issue with relying blindly on AI analysis of data is the fact that we don't know the procedures or the process that have been followed in the data analysis, unlike scientific methods that we use for qualitative data, such as MaxQDA, for example. When we use MaxQDA is a tool and it follows a very systematic and measurable tools. Again, it uses a positivist approach in which data could be traced, duplicated, and reliable. I don't really know what do you mean by we, but I'm sure there are other people outside you and I, or within that we, who are equipped with that, because after all, it's human being who invented AI, and these are people who master algorithmic component, and they are also aware of the bias. However, are we all as human beings or all faculties within human and social sciences equipped to identify that? That is what is lacking, and that's why we are organizing such an event. And that's why I said one of the responsibilities of institutions and universities is to provide capacity building training that would enable faculty members, students, and administrators to identify these kind of biases. This is a real dilemma that actually happened a couple years ago, in which an MA student, a master's student, generated the whole dissertation on the basis of AI and submitted it, and it got accepted initially, but then later on they realized that there was a hallucination in the references that were provided within the dissertation. And then when sat in front of the jury, the student told the jury that no one told me that I was not supposed to use ChatGPT. That was at the very beginning of the rise, or like the appearance of ChatGPT. And then this ethical question arises: who is responsible? Because the student was not told not to use AI, because at that time AI was not like a commonly used tool. Was it the student or the university who did not inform students about this, or the professor himself? So I think there is not today a shared responsibility. First of all, when a student comes, you don't, of course, he or she might have general knowledge about the ethics of AI and the ethics of research in general, but I think we as faculty members should not take that for granted, and we need to train them on that. So first of all, it is our responsibility. It is the responsibility of the university to provide the guidelines, the code of conduct to us as faculty members, and then make us aware of it, and then we as faculty members have to train and inform our students about it. Once all of us are aware of all those elements, then we all become responsible. This is a very big question actually, and I think it has to be discussed at higher level, at governmental level, at decision maker levels, because the big ontological question that I myself keep asking myself is, who is controlling those tools? Because that's the danger. If the tools are being controlled by the big north, it means the knowledge that is being generated and propagated is going to be Eurocentric. And so we are going to be just reproducing another form of colonialism, digital colonialism. I don't know how we can call it. So I think since AI or the advent of AI is at, well, I know that AI was invented in the 50s, but like nowadays it is propagated and vulgarized in the sense that like society and common lay people, laymen use it. I think since it is at these early stages, we need to involve the Big South. And when I say we as citizens, decision makers, media, academia, all people, civil society organizations, the schools, they should play a role in booking a seat in the debate about AI in order to ascertain that their voice, their knowledge and knowledge production is also part of the rhetoric, part of the discourses that are being generated by AI. Otherwise, as Chakravarti Gayatri Spivak says, they will speak on our behalf.